There's increasing awareness in the primary sector of the need for sustainable food production. At the same time, there's increasing knowledge of the role healthy soil ecology has in supporting healthy plants and animals. One company that's been making use of the seashore to help in this area is AgriSea. Founder Jill Bradley explains how it all began.
AgriSea grew out of our former company called Ocean Organics, and we developed and researched and made liquid seaweed concentrates for soil health, really. My husband took me on a holiday, being a woofer, big holiday it was, not lying around on a South Sea island somewhere. But it was life-changing. One of the farms we'd been on, actually, their major input was seaweed. And we noticed, out of all the organic farms we'd been on, this one was different. It looked different, and it was just amazing, No disease on this farm whatsoever, and it was a fungal summer, so there'd been quite a lot of, botrytis and those sorts of fungally things about. None on this farm. Major input seaweed. That's when we became interested in seaweed. Seaweed is the most complex material you can find. There's some major minerals and the trace elements which are absolutely needed for uptake of these minerals. Really, we just began this for ourselves, not for anybody else. And then, bit by bit, people would ask us for some, and then it just went mad. So we decided to start a company, Ocean Organics, for other home gardeners. So we moved from Auckland out to the Hauraki Plains, and then farmers started coming in. Kiwi fruit people first. We're based in Pastoral. We have 3 factories. We have about 30 staff. We have staff all over the country, field staff who are very highly educated in seaweed and soil health.
We've generally just been in liquid up until now by using the Eclonia radiata seaweed, which we ferment, and we've been producing a soil product, a pasture product, and an animal health tonic. Most recently, we've diversified into a huge range of new solid products, which are very, very exciting. The benefit of the solid product is it mixes well with other inputs, resulting in a benefit for our farmers of less time and application and lower costs. We had been asked by a couple of our users of our animal tonic to take a look into the apiculture industry. A lot of the guys out there with their hives are really finding that they struggle a little bit. Populations are going up, and as a result, the hive health is going down. So rather than just feeding the sugar syrup alone, they're adding the really great vast nutrients that the seaweed's adding to their mix and finding great results. The salt block was developed out of the request from farmers wanting more natural trace minerals, and particularly with the salt. So we then worked with Dominion Salts to develop a salt block to meet that need. We were very, very pleased with the end result.
We've spent a lot of years doing research. The environmental harvest of seaweed has been a big focus to make sure that we have an ongoing company for many generations to come. We've got harvesters all around the North Island collecting Eclonia radiata, and we've set up a research site in the East Coast that's been functioning for about 7 to 8 years now. We've got another 2 years to finish that project and creating the business case of small-scale harvesting to help economics along those coastal areas. 2 years ago, we had Dr. Christine Jones come to New Zealand and educate our field staff about the importance of soil function and how that can benefit farmers. And then last year, in the International Year of Soils, we had workshops across the whole country that were free to farmers. We had 700 attendees, and the feedback from that was, that's really interesting stuff, but how do I do that on my farm? So we've engaged in a new research project that's going to be 3 years long, and that's looking at how farmers can safely and effectively transition from high chemical input farming into a more sustainable and economically viable way of farming. We've started a pilot study that's been a year in progress now, and we're taking herbage, soil, visual soil assessments, biological soil assessments to see how it's enhancing their farm system. The thing with transitioning is it is a transition. It does take a wee bit of time to basically reactivate what's happening in your soil and let plants be able to do what they're meant to do, which is access their own nutrients. We've called this the soils first system. It is basically fine-tuning a new system for farming. It's focused mainly on dairy farms, and we're having 6 research sites across the country. Different climatic conditions, different soil types, and they're going to be education and research centres so that people can come and visit and learn about other ways of farming. In the first year, we've seen some exciting results already. We've got increased trace elements availability coming through to the plants. We've got a massive increase in biological activity, earthworms, a reduction in the pests. Really pleased with the results so far in just a short space of time. Seaweed is not classed as a fertiliser, it's classed as a biostimulant. Biostimulants are growing internationally 15% year on year, and that's driven by a couple of factors. One of that's science. Science is now catching up to figure out what exactly the seaweed biostimulants are doing at a plant level. Also a demand for decreased environmental impacts of farming and an increase in demand for good food.
We understand very clearly that the international market is wanting sustainably grown food. It's a movement that is not going to go backwards. However, for us, we don't think that everybody has to grow organically if that's not what they want to do. So for AgriSea, we are very clearly a mainstream alternative to high chemical input.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.